Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on This Is Just the Beginning. I hope you're well and I hope you've had a really good week. I know I've had quite a good week actually. It's currently Friday. I do apologise for not getting another episode out on Wednesday again. It's been a bit chaotic. To be fair, I did have time on Wednesday, but I just did not get around to doing it. So many other things popped up at work. It's been a much slower week compared to last week. I've actually had a week at home for once, which has been so refreshing actually, just really focusing on work, focusing on myself again. And I'm really trying to reconnect with myself, especially this February. And that's what I wanted to kind of just talk to you guys about today and just kind of give you some ideas of how you want your February to go. And it's not just about February, this could be any start of the month, because for me, it's the best time to hit refresh. And yeah, this is what we're going to get into today. I spoke briefly last week about needing that recharge after you've had kind of time away from home, if you've been with your friends, if you're like me, being back at uni, those kind of things. I talked a lot about recharge and again trying to reconnect with yourself, and this still applies right here. And I tend to spend the first 2 days of the month really organising myself, get my priorities straight for the month, think about the kind of month I want to have. I also do this kind of a couple days before the first of the month. And with me, I love it when the first of the month is on a Monday. And the first day of the year as well, which was this year, January 1st was on a Monday. And I love that so much because it's like a super time to just hit refresh straight away. And that's kind of what I've been doing this week, just kind of being on my own a bit and just trying to work out what I really want out of next month. February is a shorter month, although it's a leap year this year, so it's kind of the same length as any other month. But this month, I am so busy. Every weekend, I'm going to a party, I'm going out, there's something going on. And on one hand, I'm really excited because it's only on weekends as well, which is now way more suited to me as now I've gone full-time. Well, I'm going full-time on Monday next week. So I have to kind of get into the routine of not going out on a weekday and yeah, just having my weekends as my fun times when I go see my sister, go see my friends, that kind of thing. It's going to be a different approach to how I'm doing it at the moment. I just tend to go down in the middle of the day to whoever I'm going to go see and spend a few days there, work from that kind of thing. But now I'm in the office more, I'm doing more work. I want to prioritise work above all else because I've kind of felt like I've been neglecting that side of me recently, the kind of productive side, and I've been resting a lot. And I keep telling myself that that's what January is for. January is really, really shit month. And to be fair, this month has been not the lowest. Last year was the lowest January. If you remember, I didn't post anything for a very long time. Or I did and I just kind of put on a front as though I was okay. No, last January was a really hard time for me. And yeah, luckily this year was a little bit better. It was still a really hard time for me. And I got through it and I'm through it now, and it's so much sunnier already, the end of January, beginning of February. It's so sunny outside, so after I've recorded this, I'm going to go for a nice walk, again, just to hit refresh, and I prefer to do a walk to a gym session when I'm trying to hit refresh, because it gives you more time to think, and that's kind of advice number 1 today. I'd say really prioritise walks above all else if you're kind of a gym girly or you're wanting to get into the gym, you're wanting to get into fitness, really just start going on walks, because as it's getting, maybe not warmer, but it's getting sunnier, it's less rainy as well, just go for walks outside, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long you want. It really doesn't matter, just get out in the sun, because even in the winter, there's still UV, it's still good for your skin. But yeah, remember to wear SPF is tip number 1, because I work with a skincare brand, so I know all about this, so I will give advice with that. But yeah, and I miss walks so much because I used to do them all the time. Like, that was my wellness thing. Whenever I was angry, frustrated, like in recovery especially, I'd just go for a walk, usually just 10 minutes, probably to go get myself like something from the shop, like a chocolate bar or something, but I just go for a walk outside, whether it was really cold or really hot, whatever it was, I just go outside and go for a walk, and I've really not been doing that recently. Maybe because when I wake up for work it's too dark outside to do that, but now it is getting lighter, so I'm so excited for that, you have no idea. I think tip number 2 for this episode today is to really think about what you want out of this month. And a lot of people might think, well, what do you mean? Like, what do I want out of this month? Everyone has goals, and if you work full-time, whatever you're doing, you might just think months blend into months. But if you're here, obviously, if you're listening to this, you're focusing on your wellness journey, self-discovery, all of that, you will know that months have meanings to them. and you do monthly recaps. You really focus on months because it's such an easier way to kind of time block how you want to go about goals, how you want to do this. And these goals can be with work, with the gym, with, I don't know, if you're doing a weight loss journey, although I don't obviously encourage that, but whatever you're doing, whatever goals you have, it applies to all of them, whether you want to, be able to hit a PB in the gym by the end of January, or you want to get all of this work done by the end of February. Those kind of goals that you can time block, and I think it's so much easier to do that, especially with, I don't know, if you're working towards a productivity goal, maybe like smaller goals that you can't really measure as much. You can find ways to do that with time rather than how much you get done in a day, if you know what I mean. So hit refresh in February and really think about what you want to do and how you're going to get there. There's no point setting goals if you have no idea how you're going to get there. You really need to put the work in. I talk about manifestation quite a lot, and you can't manifest something into existence that you don't put the work in for. Although I did that for Taylor Swift tickets, and I got them. Didn't even wait in a queue for them. I didn't get a code. Someone I know from uni, or don't even know, like, I've seen her around, she just sent me a message saying, I've got 2 spare tickets, do you want them? And I was like, yes. This was on the first day tickets were released as well. I have told you this before, but I'm reiterating the fact. This was just luck, okay? For everything else with manifestation, like, I've really put the work in. You can't just be lucky all the time. Like, sure, some people are lucky, but one day that luck will run out and you'll be really confused why you've not got anything good. Then you have to put the work in. For example, I really manifested me getting my permanent position at my job. I didn't just, of course I did, and if you're listening to this, you must know what manifestation is, because this will sound really weird to you if you don't. I was literally writing lines in my journal saying, I will get the job, and I got it because I put the work in, because I said I wanted the job, and because I showed that I wanted it so much. You can't just manifest it. It makes no sense to me how people think that, like, you have to put the energy in to get the energy back. I say that a lot with the law of attraction. You have to put the good energy out into the world in order to get that back. You can't expect people to be nice to you if you're not nice to them. It's the exact same thing with that. To give you some examples of my kind of priorities and goals for February, number 1, this just came to mind. I've just written them all out in my journal next to me, but this just came to mind. I really want to focus more on my podcast. My blog is a huge focus for me too, but my podcast I do neglect a lot because it takes more time to record, edit, upload podcasts than blogs. But, I really want to focus on this a lot more because I love doing podcasts, and I really want this community to grow because I love the community already, but I feel like we could all benefit from a bigger community, and that's why you guys should rate, review, share my podcast. Whatever episode you love the most, share it. It would really help me out. That's just a little self-promo there, but ignore that. But that's my number 1 priority, I think, of this month. Also, I'm in my productive era, although it's different now. I'm in a different productive era to how I used to be. And I spoke about this in my last episode about how maybe your self-care routine looks different in the winter to the summer. And that is a huge thing that people do need to recognise. And same thing with if you're in a different chapter of your life right now, your wellness routine will look different, your productivity will look different. And for me, I'm productive one day, the next day I'm not as productive, but because I schedule that time in order for me to not burn out. Because otherwise, if I'm suddenly thinking, oh, I want to be so productive this week and I'm really in the mood, I know that by the end of the week I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted. So I kind of do it not necessarily just alternate days, because I have a job, I can't really do that. But some days I'm so productive, I get so much done. Other days I just kind of chill a bit. If I don't have a lot of deadlines, I just do it in my own pace, and that's something that I want to work on more, really recognizing what my body, what my mind wants that day in order to still do the work that I need to do, whether that's, my own wellness routine, whether that's work, whether that's my social media, that kind of thing. I just need to kind of recognize where I'm at in the day if I want to be productive, or not want to, because sometimes you've got to have that self-discipline to push you, but how you're just feeling. If you're feeling ill, if you're feeling lethargic, just be kinder to yourself. Still kind of push yourself a little bit to get things done, because when you just really don't want to be productive, you're not motivated, but after you've done a couple tasks, you feel so much better and then you want to do it. That's different to when you feel burnt out, ill, tired, and you just want a day of rest. That's fine too. Those days for me look a bit like either sitting in bed all day, playing video games, watching Netflix, and I do love those days, but I'm also trying to redo those days to be, yeah, okay, still do that, but go for a nice long walk, because obviously I recognise the power of exercise in a wellness journey, in recovery journeys, that kind of thing. It's so good for your mental health, but I just tend to do like 10 or 20 minute walk when I'm feeling in that mood where I just don't want to do anything. I still try and do that, whether it's at the end of the day, beginning of the day, middle of the day. It doesn't really matter when you do exercise, and that's something that I'm still trying to work on. I used to think that you have to do exercise first thing when you get up, otherwise you're going to gain weight or you're going to not burn as much calories because you're sitting down. And it's just stupid little habits like that I've picked up that I'm still even now trying to rewire my brain away from. But that's kind of going off topic here. What I'm trying to say is that with your productivity, it will go up and down, but just recognize when you feel up to the task, have that self-discipline still, but kind of think about what productivity looks to you, not to anyone else, because the hustle culture is still huge, especially in corporate jobs and all of that kind of thing. So be mindful of what productivity means to you. Does it mean you're working non-stop all day? Does it mean you're getting the tasks done no matter if it takes an hour or 10 hours? That's kind of like me. If I always make a to-do list at the beginning of the day, and this helps me so much. And as well, I make it before I go to bed. I write it on my whiteboard what I need to do, even if some days it's like just make lunch, go to work, even if it's just simple stuff like that. Or when I'm working from home, the night before, I always write out what I think in my mind. Otherwise, I'll be thinking about it all night, thinking, oh my God, I've got to get that post up, I've got to get this episode up. And then it becomes way too overwhelming when I'm going to sleep. So I always write it out rough on my whiteboard. Literally, I just write out loads of stuff all around, no order to it. Then in the morning I get my planner out and then make a to-do list. Even on like days when I'm not doing anything, when I've got nothing planned, I still do something. Like my productivity is kind of a bit tainted, I think, because I've always had this thing where you have to do something all the time, and that came from school, I think, with you have to do homework all weekend, every night, like you don't get a break. And then when I went to uni, when I had less work, I was trying to find desperately more work to do. And that kind of, I feel like that is still my academic validation with that. I'm still working towards mending that relationship with myself in terms of self-worth when I don't get a lot done in the day, because I do love a rest day. And that's what I'm going to encourage you guys to do in February. Schedule in a rest day each week. Some weeks you might have to change it to be a different day because you might feel so burnt out on a different day. And then don't get annoyed at yourself if that rest day is not the same day that you planned. This applies to the gym, but I'm talking more so in just have a rest from work, have a rest from life, stay in your bed all day, or take yourself out on a date, that kind of thing. Like, have a self-care day. That's what I mean by rest day. And your self-care day might mean going to the gym, going for a walk, doing exercise. It depends how you define rest day, because I mean, a lot of people think of that as gym rest day. No, it's whatever you define it as, and mine is, I do tend to go for a nice walk, or it's more just of a mental health break. Also this month I'm really trying to focus on a night routine, getting to sleep. Now I'm working full time, I can't be staying up till 2 a.m. every day because I will be absolutely exhausted by the end of the week. With me it's a bit different with the reasons why I'm not sleeping. I've got a lot going on, but I really want to focus on that in therapy and stuff, and really just get to the reason why I can't go to sleep and why I really struggle with sleeping. And that does come down to the fact that my habit is to watch Netflix all night. I fall asleep to watching Netflix so much, and the pain I feel the next day trying to find out what episode I was on and what bit I remember watching. And so last night I fell asleep to watching PLL. I'm rewatching it. I just finished watching the original Gossip Girl, and then I watched the new Gossip Girl, which I actually really like. If you've not heard of it, if you've not seen it anywhere, it's kind of like a modern day Gossip Girl. The main character in it is the worst actor ever though. Everyone else is a really good actor other than her, because I'm comparing it to the old Gossip Girl when the acting was actually pretty decent. With the new one, the main character is just awful at acting, so that really puts me off. And those episodes are an hour long, which I hate, but I love it so much. And there's 2 seasons. I think there's only like 8 or 10 episodes in each season though, but I finished watching that in like 3 days, which is worrying because I just fall asleep watching it. And I woke up, this happened the night before. I fell asleep watching the last 3 episodes, then it went on to the new, old Gossip Girl, which I've just finished watching as well. So I woke up at like 4 a.m. to see on my laptop episode 4, season 1, Gossip Girl, and I was like, what? I was so confused. And this morning I woke up to episode 6 on PLL when I only watched one episode last night, and then I fell asleep. So I'm really trying to not do that. I'm going to get back into reading and writing as well. Obviously I write for my job and for my blog, and I love that, but I really want to get back into fiction writing. I used to write so many stories, poems, songs, and I want to get back into that because that is as well like another way to journal. It's a hobby. I've got no hobbies at the moment, so I'm really trying to do that. I'm gonna read again, because at the moment I'm reading loads of Colleen Hoover books. I want to reread Sarah J Maas books. I love those books so much, but then I want something not on my phone, because I mean I use the Kindle app on my phone because I use my mum's account still, and all the books are on there, but I don't want to be on my phone. And my Kindle, I mean I don't have a Kindle, I use my sister's, but I think she took it back, so I might see if I can take that back from her, because that's less blue light. It's kind of just like a page, you know what I mean? It's less blue light than a phone, so I want to try get that. Or I might just buy the books, because I do love like handheld books, because you can really see how far you're in to the book, if you know what I mean, rather than a percentage on a Kindle. But yeah, so this month I encourage you to get back into an old hobby, whether that's a sport, reading, writing, art, whatever you do. Just get back into it. Just do like 10 minutes a day of it or whatever, and just really try and like reevaluate why you used to love it, kind of thing, and just bring it back into your life. I don't know about you, because I've just lost touch of all my hobbies for the last 2 years almost. I've just not been doing it, so I'm really trying to get back into it. I mean, I know this is a hobby, but it's more of a side hustle than a hobby, but I still like it. But I'd rather write than do this all the time as a hobby. Another thing is that I know I talk about this quite a lot, but think about how you're balancing your social time with your productivity, rest time, self-care time, alone time, that kind of thing. Really reevaluate how you're doing it. And as I've said, like, I'm now doing the 80-20 split, I guess. I mean, some weeks are going to look different, but at the moment I'm going to really focus on 80%, which is Monday to Friday, of work, productivity, really focus on work, especially in February. I want to see how it goes. And then on the weekend, party time, rest time, me time. With working though as well, working from home, I do get me time. I'm in my room on my own, so that does come under that. So maybe my weekends are now going to be just social time, to really have that distinction between the two, because as I've said, like, I've been going down to uni or wherever I go and see my friends, I'm doing work from there, which is just blurring the line between the two. And I need, for my own mental health, for my own sake, to really put my boundaries up and say, no, I'm not coming down on a Wednesday night back to uni to go out. I mean, I am this week coming, and I've booked off my first week of full time. I've booked off 2 days just to go out, but it's fine. I really don't mind that. And if you're someone who isn't actually that social, to be fair, I'm not social at home. I've got no social group at home. I just go back to my uni or go see my sister, and that's fine as well. But if you're someone who isn't that social, try and find something that is social. Text an old friend, do something every week that is social, regardless if you've got a job, whatever you're doing. Really try and get out somewhere on a weekend, whatever it is. I know I need to text my friend from home who has just finished her job and now she's looking for a new job, so she's got so much time, so I need to message her and I need to get in touch with her. So maybe I go see her tomorrow, maybe I arrange that. On that note, I mean, I know I'm just throwing so much advice at you right now, but it helps me to get it out, so I'm pretty sure it will help you too. Reevaluate your friendships. And I've spoken about this quite a lot, and it's so hard sometimes to kind of look at who is still serving you, who's not, who you don't really want in your life anymore, and it's just so much effort. Friends should not be effort. Friends should be those people that you can either spend all night chatting together, or you can just sit silently side by side, scrolling on your phone, doing your own thing. That's what friends are for. Friends are people who are there all the time. If you phone them, they will pick up, but then they also understand boundaries. Like, if they're at work, if they're away, they're not always going to pick up. And it's taken me a long time to really see who is still my friend, who I don't really want in my life anymore. And it is really hard trying to break off a friendship, because it is true, like, the best friend breakup does hurt. But in my case, it's a long time coming with one of my friends, and I've kind of just taken the decision just to step back and just let her apologise, or not even that, just say, no, I don't want you in my life anymore, I'm working on myself, and as much as that hurts you, it still hurts me as well. And this is what this year is all about. The beginning of the year, it's about again, refresh. And I keep saying that, but it is all about refreshing with friendships, with yourself, with your job, with whatever you're doing. Really think hard about what you want, who you want in your life, who serves you, who is the energy givers, not the energy drainers. And I have not mentioned those phrases in a very long time, actually. If you are a bit lost what I'm on about, energy givers are those people that give you energy, give positive vibes, give you smiles and laughs, and don't bring you down ever. The energy drainers are people who do things like they one-up you, they never pick up, but they always want you to pick up. It's kind of just like a non-reciprocal friendship, relationship, whatever it is. Really think about who does what in your life, and if you've got any energy drainers, now is your sign to get rid of them. I don't mean in a malicious way, but maybe just talk to them, or just let them go. If it's someone you don't see that often, just let it kind of go. Like, you don't have to explain yourself sometimes. You can just kind of let things go, and that's what I've learned as well. You should not feel sorry, you should not feel guilty for breaking things off with someone, whether it's a friend, a partner, whoever it is. You do not need to feel guilty for protecting your own inner peace. If they were a good friend ever, they would understand that. I know a lot of people don't understand the whole wellness journey. Like, that's what my ex never understood about me, about the protect your inner peace, have boundaries. Like, that's something that he never understood, which I really did not like, and that's something that is a huge part of my life, and we just did not click in that way. So that's why I kind of had to end it with him, because he just didn't understand me. Like, sure, he loved me, but he didn't understand me. And that's the same with friends. Like, make sure they understand you, they understand what you want, and they're not always pulling you down if you say, oh, I've done this today, it was so good, and then they're like, oh, everyone does that. Well, you know what I mean? Like, they really help you through your journey, they help you be a better person, and vice versa. You have to evaluate as well what kind of friend you are. And I did a practice in therapy the other week about list qualities you want in a friend. Step one then is to think about your friends and see who does align with those qualities. And if you've got some friends that don't align with many of them or any of them, that's your sign to let them go. And then also another thing you can do with it is think about if you have those qualities, and think about if you are a friend to yourself, because at the end of the day, you need to be a friend to yourself, because you're not always going to have these friends. You're always going to have yourself. You're not going to have everyone else in your life. And that's the really harsh truth. But if you want to be reconnecting with yourself, working on yourself, inner peace, all of that, you need to work out who you are and what you want for yourself from yourself. So that practice is really good, thinking about what qualities you want in you, and as well see what kind of friend you are to other people, because as well, like, that's such a good way to kind of just look inside yourself. And if you think, my friends have these qualities, but do I reciprocate that to them? Because at the end of the day, they also want a good friend as well. So you've got to be reciprocal in any kind of relationship, friendship, with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, with your partners, with anyone. You have to have this reciprocal nature, otherwise it just doesn't work, and then it all blows up in your face basically. And I'm sure everyone has had this experience. I'm going to wrap up this episode here, because I am aware, again, I've kind of just blabbed my way through it, but I hope you've kind of had chance to think about what you want in this month, what you want in the rest of the year as well, and kind of evaluate what you want from yourself and what you want from other people in your life, and how you're going to get to the goals you want to get to. Let me know in the comments, DM me what you're up to this weekend. I am watching the Six Nations rugby, because I've not watched rugby in so long, and I'm so excited for it. Yes, I'm a rugby girl. That's just who I am. I was raised watching rugby, so I'm really excited that it's back on. And the first match is tonight, so I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the pub watching it. I hope you are too. I hope you're not a footballer over a rugby watcher. So yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have a good month, and let me know how your month is going, how January went, and how you're going to make this month better than the last month.